Hey fam, what's good? What's good? It's Tuesdays with Tawana. What's going on, fam? It's good to be in the building on today. So grateful for this Tuesday. This is Rev T, your host and your curator for Tuesdays with Tawana. Every Tuesday, 2 o'clock Eastern Time. This is a time where we have an opportunity to build with community one episode at a time. We talk about every and anything in order for us to build together and to have this beautiful curiosity about one another and to grow together and to fight together and to love together, cry together, experience joy together, and everything in between. I'm so glad that you have decided to join. If you are listening to this uh, during the podcast version of this, just know that you'll hear me insert the narrative of people that have joined me on Facebook Live, and I insert their comments because this is not all about Rev T and just my thought and my ideology. It's about us. It's about centering Black people and Black experiences for the love and liberation of all, the love and freedom of all, the love and dignity of all. So let us get started. What's up, Cordio? Glad to see you in the building. Hey, brother, my wonderful brother. Good to see you. What's up, Jan? Yeah. The queen is in the building with the queen watching and listening. So grateful. Hey, Mother Carolyn. Yes, let us send some love and light to Mother Carolyn. She is sitting and listening in and watching as she is waiting for the doctor. So let us just pour out some loving and warm energy, send some hearts her way, send some love, send some healing energy right now. Thank you for joining and taking the time out, Mother. We love you so much, and we hope that all goes well. All goes well. All goes well. We are grateful. We are grateful. So, we got a lot to chop it up about today. Earlier today, I was like, excuse me, I might take a break today. And then I said, no, I won't. Because I need community. I need community. This community healing happens in community, transformation happens in community, loving relationships happen in community, and I needed that today. I needed that as I speak the name of Brittany Griner. I needed that as I speak the name of Judge Jackson, who continues to be interrogated in a way that she is only interrogated in this manner because she's a Black woman. If the interrogation, the questions, the inquiries were about her and her beautiful experience and her humanity as she served as a judge, we would be having a different conversation. But because she is a Black woman, and because Black women often find themselves under heavy scrutiny, because Black women often find themselves in the throes of being challenged or dehumanized or being deemed less than, and understand, beloved, y'all know me and y'all know me well, but those who are listening for the first time, I center Black women and Black experiences because that is my experience. It does not demean or degrade my beautiful Black men. I honor them and I name them today who have to deal with these ills of society as well, to my indigenous First Nation beloved, and to other people of color, where we find that racism rears its ugly head when it does not need to be. Beloved Jason is in the building. Good afternoon, sir. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining this afternoon. So understand when I center self, because I'm talking about my experience. I can't talk about what I don't know. I can't talk about what I don't experience. I can talk about what I've learned, even if I haven't necessarily experienced it firsthand, but I can talk about what I've learned and share with community so that we can come to an understanding of what this looks like, what this feels like, what this smells like, what this sounds like, what it tastes like. We can come together and define that, because y'all know I love me some Audre Lorde. If I didn't define myself, I would be crunched into other people's fantasies and eaten alive. And if Judge Jackson didn't know herself, and know that her two beautiful daughters are watching and listening, and if she did not show up unapologetically as a Black woman, they would be able to rip her apart. And we dare not give those with false power, white supremacy, white racist, white power, whoever is about dehumanizing Black women and Black men and Black beloveds in general, showing love to my queer community and my trans community and all those who are non-binary, those who are ostracized and marginalized. We come together in this moment to fight the status quo. Look who's in the building today. Hi, Auntie. My family is representing today, y'all. Well, thank you, Cordio. Yeah, I speak because we speak, right? And we insert comments. So if you have an idea or a varying view or something that is going to speak life to our community, I am all for engaging in this dialogue and in this conversation. If there is something that is dehumanizing or degrading to another human being, I will not entertain that, because I protect my peace. I protect my beloveds. I protect our being, our humanity, our dignity, and will not allow in this space, in this sacred divine space, for anyone to be dehumanized or degraded. So when we have this dialogue, this dialogical moment, we have it in order to build, in order to tear some things down and some to build back up. Others just need to be dismantled and go away. Like the whole mentioning of CRT during the hearings, the whole mention of CRT in schools. Stop it, damn it, just stop it. It is for law school. CRT was developed for law school. So if you want to keep it funky, then just say what you want. You just don't want Black history, which is American history, including the enslavement of Africans brought to this country. You just don't want that being told. You don't want the civil rights movement to be told. You don't want books like Beloved to be read. You don't want books like authored by Ibram X. Kendi or other womanist scholars, ethicists, theologians. You don't want that read in the schools because it calls out the heinous behavior of human beings who consider themselves white and who consider themselves of privilege and who consider themselves those with power that can dehumanize, degrade, and oppress and marginalize others. You don't want that put out there, because you want this linear, one-way, individualistic thought that says, I am in control, this is my power, this is how it's going to go, and that is it. And anyone else who is non-white or doesn't have that white thought, then we are going to silence you. We are going to pull your history and rip it out so that we never have to talk about it again. We never have to experience it because, I feel a little uncomfortable. I feel this discomfort coming on because you're calling out my racism. You're calling out my embedded theology that calls for marginalization and disrespect and dehumanization of others. You're calling me out. And that's not a good feeling. I get it. What's up, Pastor Mike? Good to see you and hear you. Yes, thank you for joining us today. So, I understand the level of discomfort, but in order for us to grow, we are going to deal with some discomfort. Yeah, Pastor Mike said, who consider themselves Christian, right? And at the same time, they want to dehumanize and dismiss and degrade and dishonor others who are non white. Ah, yes. Go ahead, Rev. She said, Delisha said, we have to face it to fix it. So, what are we going to do, beloveds, as community to face it, to fix it, right? How are we going to combat these bills and laws and all of these things that are 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 decided per state to take certain books out or to make sure certain curriculum is not being taught? And again, CRT is not being taught in lower education, elementary, middle school. It's for law school. What you are trying to do is to erase people of color from the curriculum so that you can feel, I'm believing, so you can feel a little better about yourself. Ah, hey, Mark, good to see you. Yes, liberation theology. Oh, he said he wished he was still on the radio so he can have me as a guest. Mark has been a dear friend of mine since Wagner Projects, knows me, knows my brother Larry, who's on. He is my big brother. He has watched me grow, as my blood brother Larry did, watch me grow. And they know good and well this is not the Tawana. Thank God for growth. Thank God for deliverance. Thank God for healing. Thank God for forgiveness. Thank God for maturity. Thank God for wisdom. Thank God for change. Lord, in your mercy. Wagner Projects was good to me, very good to me. And there were times when it wasn't. And there were times when I wasn't good to myself. So, with that, hey, Reverend Christina is in the building. What's up, Love Bug? She said, hey, Love Bug. Excuse me. So, yes, I do have this annoying cough again. I've been to the doctor. COVID is negative. Anything else is negative. So, it's just healing ain't easy. It's just the process that I have to go through. Hey, Mama Lovey, I'm so glad you're in the house. I love you and miss you dearly. So, yeah. So, excuse me, because I can't mute everything to cough. So, I'm just rude and just coughing all in the broadcast, whatever. But it's a part of the healing. So, you get to experience this healing ain't easy firsthand. How I have to deal with all of these side effects and all of this craziness that goes on with healing from breast cancer. So, speaking of healing, let us shift gears a bit. As I speak Brittany Griner's name one more time, Brittany Griner, free, free, free Brittany, because had she been non-black, had she been cisgender and not queer, had she fit into some sort of financial box, she wouldn't still be detained in Russia. So let me just say that, and let me see, what does my brother have to say? Oh, my brother Larry said, I am so proud to see the growth, Dr. Tad. Thank you. Oh, mommy would be so proud. Yes, she was. Yes, she would. Yes, she would. And she was just amazing and has taught me so much. Oh, okay, Mark. Families United for Solutions. Okay, hit me up. Hit me up anytime I have an opportunity to speak life into community. That's what I'm here for. Oh, thank you, Christina. I will do that. I haven't done anything for it because I've been frustrated. Sometimes you just get tired of the things that it takes to heal. Well, let me speak for me. Sometimes I get tired of doing the things that it takes to heal because it's always something. It's go to this cardiologist for this, go to this bone doctor for that. It's go to your oncologist. Well, no, this is your primary care physician. No, then you got to go to the ENT. And sometimes it's just I just get tired and I rather just do nothing. And no, it's not wise, but that's how I feel in the moment. So, my beloved Christina, I will do something about this cough, and sip on some tea and some lemon and some warm ginger. I have it all here. I have what I need right here. And sometimes I don't use it, and it's right here before me. My God, today. Whew. Oh, thank you, Jason. Yes, I am getting better. Yeah, absolutely, Courtney. Brittany would have been released already. Already. And let me just note this also before I move on to the next thing that's on my mind. I mentioned this. I do this. I, I do this thing on TikTok because I'm supposed to be on TikTok. That's what they say. So I do this Dr. Tad daily-ish freebie. So not every day, but I'll just go on and just share a thought, right? And the other day I reminded folk that racial battle fatigue is real. Like, doesn't it seem like sometimes we're always in this battle, this struggle? We're always fighting for something, fighting for equal pay, fighting for access to health care, fighting for adequate housing and more than adequate education and communities. And we're always fighting for something, fighting for our dignity. We know we are dignified. We have the dignity and we see the dignity in other. And it's so disappointing when other people don't see that same dignity in us, not understanding that dignity works two ways. It's reciprocal. When I just have dignity and it's one way, it's called conceit. It's called ego. It's called being full of myself. It has to work both ways, right? And racial battle fatigue is real. Like, I do this for the love of community. I do this for the love of my Black beloveds. I do this so that it starts with us and everyone else then will benefit and be healed as well, so that we all can be in a space of dignity and honor and someone seeing our humanity. And darn it, I get tired. Because racial battle fatigue is real. You just get tired. But the beauty of it is all these people right here that are listening and that are commenting, I know that if I need to step back for a minute and take a break, that somebody is doing the work and somebody's going to step up and fill in or pick up where I left off, so that when I come back, then we can continue this work of liberation together, right? But sometimes, beloveds, we got to take a rest because we've been fighting this fight from the inception of this country. From the inception. Christina says, Ashe. Hey, Brittany. Yes, it's the lack of humanity for me. Can we, full stop. Full stop. The lack of humanity. And what does that mean? See me. See me as the human being that I am. So, talking about seeing me, I want to talk about, I read an article this morning from Safe Horizon. I try to, keep up to date with what's going on in the world of domestic violence and advocacy and bills and legislative measures that are all of that, everything around domestic violence. I try to keep up on that. And I was reading an article from Safe Horizon on today, and it talked about how and I can't think of her name right now, but it'll come to me. I was thinking about the woman that was, uh, I'll say allegedly, but I believe her. So since this is my show, let me just may say that little caveat allegedly, but I will not say that again. I believe her. Um, she um she was raped, and let me this might be sensitive for some, triggering for others. So if we can just take a deep breath while I talk about domestic violence, because we need to talk about it, right? It's silence that's killing us, that's killing our beloveds. Um, so she was attacked, sexually assaulted by Russell Simmons. And this happened years and years ago, and it happened for a long period of time. So, some people, the first question might be, why didn't she leave? Or the next question or statement might be, well, that couldn't be me. But think about this, beloved. Have you ever been in a situation, maybe at work, and your boss is just real crappy, does some crappy stuff, probably some illegal and immoral stuff, not following rules, guidelines of the organization, company, department, whatever, and you see it and you want to say something, but you also want to keep your job because you want to feed your family. And that person has power. So that person could probably fire you if you speak up, or demote you, or threaten to transfer you out of the current city or state that you're in. So then you choose to be quiet because what you have outweighs the risk of what you may or may not have. What you have outweighs the justice. What you have outweighs speaking truth to power. What you have gives you a sense of security, and you stay silent. So if I can juxtapose that to someone who has been or in a domestic violence situation, who is dealing with sexual abuse or assault, and they're fearful of leaving because that person has the power, and they're fearful for their lives, and that outweighs the possibility of leaving, having to leave family, having to leave their job, having to go into a shelter that may not be the most conducive, the most clean, the most safe, having to leave when financial abuse is real and not having access to bank accounts and debit cards. And we sometimes I take that for granted. I take out my debit card, my credit card, I go, I buy food, I'm good to go because no one has control over my finances. And sometimes they are fearful of speaking up because that person has power. Or on the other side of that, if someone sees this going on and has some sort of connection to that person, that instills fear in them as well if they speak up and speak out. Let me give you another example. I was in my home, heard some commotion, sounded a bit violent to me, but I didn't want to call the police. Why? Because I don't I just have a problem with calling the police. Their record with us, it's not too stellar. This is me. This is Tawana speaking. But what did I do? Nothing. And it broke my heart. As a domestic violence survivor, I didn't know what to do. Didn't know what to do. Didn't want to risk my life and go knock on the door at wee hours in the morning. I didn't know what to do. Who to call? Who's to say if I had called, the police that someone would not have gotten hurt? So I say all of this as I decided to talk about domestic violence today. One, because I read the article from Safe Horizon, and I'll try to post it into the link as well for your information. But I also brought it up because of what's happening with Kanye and Kim. Whether I like Kim or not, whether I care about her, irrelevant. I see her and I believe her. And what is happening right before our eyes, it is classic, scripted domestic violence or even domestic terrorism. And I only use that term because when my abuser went to jail, that was a term that they used, domestic terrorism. When someone keeps calling you or threatening you through other means or like social media and things of that nature, but then shows happy, joyful pictures with their children. That is also a part of this intimidation tactic. So we must believe women. And I say women because women are most impacted and affected by domestic violence. It happens to men too. And that's probably another segment that we need to talk about. Because with men, it comes with the guilt and shame of society saying, well, you a man. How you let some woman or some other man or a partner. So the shame is even heightened in that area, right? So let me read some of these comments before I offer something to you today and begin to sign out. Talking about humanity, Christina says, just don't see me, but really see and hear me without your prejudices or projections. Absolutely. Mother Carolyn talks about rest and says rest is self-care. Excuse me. And sometimes we have to take a step back, catch our breath, and then get back into the fight. Absolutely. Absolutely. Brittany says the continued audacity to forget that if you are a patriot or support citizens of this country, you are a patriot if you support black and brown faces whose ancestors built this country would gain the same chances of your global minority selves. Yes, ma'am, you better preach, Brittany. Christina goes on to say, I believe her, and she's not the only person that has said this, which is why she's been in Europe for more than the last couple of years. I'm talking about Brittany Griner. Hey, Tanisha, I'm glad you made it. I see you, sis. I see you on. Thank you for joining. Christina says it's multi-layered and it's not easy. Black and white solution issue. We have to struggle with that. Absolutely. And the struggle is real. The struggle is real. Hey, my beautiful Maletti. I love you. Yep, we can love Kanye and still hold him accountable. He can be a genius when it comes to music and other things, but we need to hold him accountable. Christina said, imagining he's escalating in my viewpoint, regardless about how I feel about her and him. I see the signs of love bombing and DV. Absolutely. Yeah. We see it and we got to talk about it, beloved. We see it and we got to talk about it. So, what I offer you today, as we begin to sign off on Tuesdays with Tawana, Let us continue to speak Brittany Griner's name, regardless of why she's there. We just know that things would be different if she was not a Black queer woman, and she wouldn't even need to be there if women athletes were paid the same as men athletes. Let's go there. Two, so keep speaking her name, and whenever you have an opportunity, showing love and support, because the more support we can show and the more pushback we give, the more it's more of a likelihood that she will be released. Because who's to say what they'll come up with in May? Are we just going to sit and wait for May to happen? Finally, as we continue to send love and light to Judge Jackson, as she goes through the confirmation hearings, let continue to send love and light to her. Let us think about how we respond, how we acknowledge, how do we identify domestic violence, and how we can support organizations that support women in one of the most challenging ills in society, because it's so secret, because it's so full of shame, because it's done in private, because it has this cycle that the good part shows above ground and the bad part shows below ground. What can we do to offset that and to change it and to expose it for what it is, this false sense of power that oftentimes results in death? That's the real part about it, beloved. So I offer you just a moment to think and to reflect and to send love and light and to really think about how we can remain safe and yet be advocates and activists for those who can't speak up for themselves. And I'll leave you with this. Please don't ever tell a person in a domestic violence situation to leave. Before you ever even think about saying that, you can always call the domestic violence hotline and they will guide you accordingly. Because telling someone to leave could be signing their death certificate. That the statistics are there. I'm not making this up. It's factual information, and it is happening. It has happened to people that I've known. It has happened to my friends. It has happened to friends of friends firsthand. So let us show some love and light to one another and continue to honor one another and continue to build community one episode at a time. Oh, and how could I forget Tizzy Tees? I don't know if you can see my shirt. TIZZYTEES.com. Tizzy Tees, and my lip gloss from Tony, who is on today. I will be sure to put the link in the comments because we support Black businesses. And this is Reverend T. This has been Tuesdays with Tawana, and I love y'all to the moon and beyond. Thank you for rolling with me. I'll see y'all next week. Later.